shit.
So I ain't trying to age us, but so y'all wasn't listening to when Ice Cube was dissing NWA?
Yeah.
But you heard, yeah. What you heard, huh? What you heard, you can hear a motherfucking thing.
Oh, LL Cool J.
Right. Yes, the Bad video. I had never seen a person do what he did, and like I didn't realize it at the time that I was actually just being inoculated to the music that I was gonna love for the rest of my life, but I knew that I wanted to do that.
Right.
And then once Salt and Pepper came, then I knew that I could. I knew that it was possible for me to do that.
I feel the 16 coming on.
So,
yeah.
I thought she about to.
Nah, but I'm just saying that was the moment that I fell in love with hip hop, because I was fortunate enough to have parents that like diverse music tastes, like they listen to everything, and I'm so thankful for that because they put a love of music inside my soul. But they listen to hip hop, they listen to Rakim. You know what I'm saying? They listened to KRS-One. They listened to Big Daddy Kane
at the time because it was newer.
They were younger. You know what I mean? So like they listened to Just Ice, and you know what I'm saying? Like, especially since my father, and mother was in the Nation of Gods and Earth. So like they're from the soil, and but they also listen to Sade. They also listen to Tito Puente and Moody Blues and all these different. So like my music, like, background is extremely well-rounded. Okay. You know what I mean? But for me, that was the moment that I fell in love with hip-hop. When I saw that man do them things, I was like, my mind was blown. I wasn't ready. I wasn't ready.
I'd have to say my moment was, I can pinpoint the moment, to be honest with you. I'm like, I had heard, Rapper's Delight, and I was like, yeah, this is cool, but I was still into Michael Jackson. You know what I mean? And that was the thing. I'm like, I probably still had a little Jerry curl going on, right? So I was into Michael Jackson, and it was funny because me and my brother are twins, so we had 2 Michael Jackson albums and shit, because one couldn't have one without the other having one, right? I'm like, I remember I was going over to one of my cousin's house, and they used to bring out the cardboards and be like, breakdancing in the street. So they put on a Fat Boy tape, and all I heard was "Fat Boys Are Back," and I was like, "What the fuck is this?" And that shit just was like, it was just like you heard the beat drop, boom, back, and you was like, "What the fuck, man?" That shit blew my brains out. When I got home, I did not want to put on the Michael Jackson album no more. I was like, "How can I get this?" I was like, "I want this. I want to play this all the fucking time." And I don't know, in Detroit, kids being kids, you go to school. Some kid had a tape just full of rap songs, and I was able to get my hands on it, like make a little dub of it, and that was it. I was like, I don't even know what happened to the Thriller album after that. That shit was like, I was like, what the fuck happened?
We all had that Thriller album.
I'm sure it was in my mom's collection, but that motherfucker never came out again.
What was yours, Slim?
My father was in the military, so we was in Germany, and I heard, and the song is whack, but I heard that the rapping Duke, the hard. You know what I'm saying? I was like, damn, this is crazy.
Still remember hearing that.
But then I heard the show, Dougie Fresh.
Oh yeah, man.
I was like, oh shit!
Lottie Dottie was a different show.
Yeah,
the show.
I was like, this is crazy right here.
Yeah.
I mean, so
My moment was Tupac's "Brenda Got a Baby."
Yeah.
And
that's the Tupacalypse now.
he wore the UNLV jacket.
yeah,
It was that UNLV jacket because I'm from Vegas. I was like,
that nigga had on the
shit, somebody know about it.
Right.
Like that's how I felt at that moment. It was UNLV jacket.
And it's funny because I'm in Detroit and I didn't even know what UNLV meant.
Bro.
I didn't know it was in Las Vegas. I was like, yo.
So my pops bought the jacket for my brother.
Nice.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So when I seen it, it was like, my brother got that jacket. You know what I'm saying? Like, so seeing, and that's what made me fall in love with storytelling hip hop.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, to this day, I love storytelling hip hop. You know what I'm saying? Like, So after the Pox, I started, listening to Slick Rick.
I was gonna say Slick Rick.
You know what I'm saying? Then I started listening to niggas like that. So my moment was definitely that Pac moment. And then,
man, it was what Pac said. I ain't got no words. That's why I fucked your bitch. Hey, I was so
violent.
I was so shocked that somebody would say that.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like on a song. At that time, I'm hearing everybody kind of like R&B.
Subbing.
You know what I mean? They subbing like they don't like him over there. Pac like, nigga, look. This is up. You know what I'm saying? Name. And then I had learned that Biggie's. I learned that Jay-Z song with that. Can I hit it in the morning without giving? But I learned the words. I'm like, damn, nigga, like I'm about to rap. You know what I'm saying? For real. Cause he was rapping kind of fast then. But if you listen to the shit Jay was saying back then, it was like, God damn, nigga.
So I ain't trying to age us, but so y'all wasn't listening to when Ice Cube was dissing NWA.
Oh yeah.
I had backtracked, you know what I'm saying? I had backtracked that shit, you know. So I used to fuck with DJ Quick and shit like that because his brother, you was like the biggest DJ Quick fan. So I used to listen to that. But my mom didn't really want me to hear that shit.
MCA,
one of my
the Duck Stick. That shit was hard too, man. I'm like, yo.
Quick is still one of my favorite artists. But me so. No Vaseline is my favorite diss record.
Right.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? And I've said this forever. A lot of niggas started saying that after the NWA shit came out. Like that has always been one of my favorite diss records. Because I was like, this is beyond disrespectful. You know what I'm saying? And then as I got older and I knew what he was saying, you know, and that's why I tell niggas a lot, like, you fall in love with music young. Right.
Yes.
So we don't know what they saying. It sounds good, right? We don't know the meaning behind it. None of that. You know what I'm saying? So when you get older, and I hate that a lot of people do this. I don't think we do this as a platform. Like neither of us. The older cats be like, "Well, he ain't talking about shit."
Yeah, I hate.
I was 9. I didn't know what he was talking about.
It didn't matter.
Right. Yeah.
It didn't matter. It just sounded good. The beat sounded. That's what took me so long to start liking East Coast music.
Right.
Because they was too intelligent for me.
Boy.
I'm 8, 9, and you give me all these big ass words like I despise the Wu-Tang.
Oh damn.
I was like, bro, stop playing this shit.
Right.
You did a
Well, and that's
feature
another
when you
thing.
listen to that shit.
That's another thing too that I completely took completely for granted as a member of the Nation of Gods and Earths is that people didn't have that foundational knowledge of what they were talking about. It was going over niggas' heads. So like, you know, a nigga from the West Coast that don't know shit about that, like there's nothing for you to connect to other than the music itself, the actual beats that's being played. You know what I mean? But the RZA's production is like everything. It was enough for me.
Yeah, but at that time, like on the West Coast, we used to, you know what I'm saying? This
with certain sounds.
Yeah, it was more melodic.
By the time NWA came out, Dre is already sampling music.
Yeah. Dre is the fucking
You
man.
feel me? So it just sounds different. So when I'm listening to Wu-Tang, like if you meet a nigga from the West Coast, you bring up the Wu-Tang, they're probably gonna tell you the favorite member is Method Man.
Yep.
Because he's the only one that made sense.
Yeah. You know what's crazy?
More universal. Definitely universal.
You know what I'm saying? He was
He was dropping jewels and that shit. I think to this day people still hear that song and don't get really like, what he was saying. You know what I mean?
He subs so much.
Yeah, and Meth, you know, he's like for me one of the first Wu-Tang members to actually do stuff with a real West Coast artist. Like he did a song with Spice One.
Right.
I was like, yo, and I'm like, yo, him doing songs with Spice One was like, what the fuck? Like hearing him on America's Nightmare was like, yo, like that shit was crazy. And then you start hearing them, like you said, with J.O. Felony, and then, but they was label mates. So I got that. I didn't get Spice One because they wasn't label mates. That was like Jive Records and Def Jam.
Right.
That's not a label. So that means somebody had to reach out to somebody and somebody had to agree to that. You know what I'm saying? So that means they was fans of each other's music, which was dope to me. That's what made that connection dope to me. I was like, okay, then, this is dope.
So when it go with hip hop, who to y'all was like the shock value? Like just shocked you? Like for me it was Redman.
Oh yeah, Redman.
That's my
God.
Redman was talking about fat chicks and shit. And, you know what I'm saying? Like, he was like the shock to me.
The shock to me, and that wasn't until I got out here to Vegas, was Lynch.
Brother Lynch. Queen, I was finna say that. Queen, I was finna say Brother Lynch.
Like I had never heard nobody that horrorcore shit like that on that level before. Like it was like clutching my fucking pearls. Jesus Christ, what's wrong with you? So like it was crazy. It was like, oh my God, like it freaked me out when I first heard it. It freaked me out.
People and shit. Yeah.
My shock was early. Shock to me.
Luke was too short.
When I heard that nigga say, "Hey ho, let me ask you a question," you like the fuck? I was like, "What, nigga? You can do that?" Like, I'm like, man, I'm like, yo. I was like, man, this nigga Too Short is fucking nuts.
Freaky Tales.
Yeah, man, Freaky Tales, all of that shit. I was like, yo, that nigga blew my brains out there.
Normal for us.
That changed the game for me. But see, I'm like, you gotta remember, Too Short came out, and I'm like, all I heard was "Life is Too Short" at first because that was the radio cut. And then I go down to Ohio,
that was the second album,
and my cousins is playing "Born to Mac."
Yep.
So I'm like, I get up in there, I'm like, damn, I'm like, what the fuck is this? And I hear that, I'm like, they played it, and my cousin left the room. I rewinded that shit like 8 times. I was like, nigga, this shit was crazy. I was like, can you do this?
Yep.
Hey, I'm like, it was like listening to porno. I was like listening to a porno. I was like, if a porno could be
turn the music down or not,
I was like,
turn this down. What am I doing?
I'm like, I'm in there. I'm like, yo, my cousin left the porno tape here, nigga. I'm about to watch this bitch.
But was Too Short? Who was first, Luke and 2 Live Crew? Or
Luke
Too
was
Short?
nuts too.
Because Luke had to put the parental advisory stickers.
But okay, so.
Yo, cuz, yo. Tell some of these narrow-minded people what's up, you know? Tell them.
There's only one place where we can go, where the price is right to see a show. It's always popular.
Now, how many of y'all ever been to a hotel and y'all had sex in a hotel? Put your hands up. Now, I know a whole lot of y'all out there lying.
Luke and them, like Too Short and Luke was, like you said, around the same time. But Luke was the one that was in the media fighting for them to be able to say the shit they were saying. Too Short was just like, I'm just throwing this shit the fuck out here, and whatever happens, happens. You know what I mean? With the fuck, because Too Short was already. Too Short and them had the entrepreneur mindset of, I'm gonna sell this shit out the trunk. So they was already making money.
Yeah.
Unlike Luke and them had, you know, they was making money, but they had like a deal.
major label.
You know what I mean? They had a deal behind them. So I'm like, when you
had something before the deal, they were going out the trunk too.
they was going out the trunk. They was going out the trunk, but I'm like, Too Short in that Bay Area, man, and MC Hammer, Too Short, fucking E40, all them, they was all selling fucking major records.
I was a Hammer fan, and I don't know why.
Hammer was dope. Hammer was dope. I'm like, what the fuck?
Look, hey, tell them.
But I tell you like this. This speaks to what I was saying earlier. When the music sonically sounds good, it's just good music. It ain't gotta have the substance that people automatically think that they gotta have. Hammer made good music. The music was good. Like if you throw it on right now, I wanna fucking dance.
I didn't like, for real. I didn't like Pumps in the Dump.
Yeah.
But that project was dope. That album.
Yeah. But that was the Death Row project.
That was right before Death Row.
Was it right before Death Row?
Yeah.
I know. That was the Funky Headhunter. That was on the Funky Headhunter.
He didn't get to drop the Death Row album, did he?
But he was moving around with Death Row. Yeah,
I know he was moving around with him, but I don't know if he was officially signed to Death Row when that one.
Yeah, that was the Funky Headhunter. That album was crazy.
I used to love hearing that cocky shit. Like when I used to hear Biggie, I'm fat, black, and ugly as ever.
Did that shock you though?
Yeah, to me, because it, like at that time, man, you know, appearance, when I was so young, appearance was everything. You know what I mean?
That's
and
why.
for him to
That's
just
why
say like,
man
nigga, the bitch don't like me, but she gonna leave with me.
Right.
Like he just was saying that, like I'm gonna knock
Heartthrob never, black and ugly as ever.
Even when we talk about God,
be mad that I knew that nigga versus.
how you say?
God fucking don't
I
wanna
go to hell
Cause I'm a piece of shit. It ain't hard to fucking tell.
I go to heaven with all the goody goods. I like black hoodies. I'm like, this nigga going crazy.
Yeah, that shit was hard.
For real. And I was a pop fan. I'm like, that was a shock value for me.
Bro.
Like, damn, this nigga say whatever he really feeling.
Like whatever you feel, it's crazy.
And
like
so smooth with it too.
I was a Pac fan, right? So I hated on Big, right? Like I legit hated on Big. Like I know I did, right?
And Jay, whoever Pac said fuck you, I was like,
and then I want to say like probably 2000. I'm listening to Big, and I'm reciting every word, and I'm like, why do I know this?
You know him.
Because I didn't like him.
But you gonna know
Because his
it.
music is
Exactly.
infectious.
Whatever
It's
they
in your
put,
mind.
whatever they put on the radio from Big, you just
Know it.
You knew that
knew
shit.
it. Like
Right.
Knew that shit.
that's one thing that Diddy had. Diddy had a way to grab your attention when you didn't want to give him your
Nah.
attention.
Yup.
Yeah.
But Big was a
Nigga that
beast.
be your best rapper, you don't even like
Beast.
Yes,
Big
the
was a
best.
beast.
Yeah.
Big was a beast.
He knew he had something with Big, but most of the Biggie artists though, they be smooth niggas. Like Loon, all of them, they be some smooth talking motherfuckers, man.
Because Murder Mace was fucking
Murder,
crazy.
oh man, you
Motown
got,
niggas, I'm telling you.
fucking
he
crazy.
had me on that Virginity. Remember the song? How
No,
many
man.
niggas I remember the first time you ever take a girl virginity? I'm like, well, this nigga Mason,
Mace
man.
Mace was hard,
Mace
man.
was the
Yeah,
man.
the thing about it though that niggas don't know, like, cause before Mace came out as a bad boy artist, he was Murder Mace,
Yeah,
and he was
Murder
doing the
Mace.
mixtape scene
Fact.
hard, nigga.
Hard.
Y'all ain't never heard Mace rap like this. Mace was hard,
Yeah,
nigga.
She was so was
Like hard.
Yeah, I see the interview with Cam talking about that shit recently.
Spazzing like Cam in his
yeah.
prime on the mixtape.
Yeah, he was on the Clue tapes.
You know what's crazy about that? Like
Sure was.
I know y'all all in that era, and I know y'all came from like the East Coast, like different parts of the East Coast. Like y'all know of the East Coast.
Mm-hmm.
My real introduction to mixtapes is Wayne.
Oh yeah, when they started doing the no ceiling,
Drama.
Okay.
drama and shit.
You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
So
Okay.
like I heard of the 50 later. I heard about Mace and all that, but we didn't get the only shit we got early was Lil Wayne and the Hot Boys. That's the only shit we got
That was
early,
my favorite.
and that's because
Guerrilla
our
Warfare.
family is down south.
Right.
That's the only thing that we got early. Like I heard the Hot Boys album long before a lot of people even knew who they was.
Facts.
Right.
So when we
And
seen
BG.
them, yeah, we seen
Chopper
them in
City.
we seen them in California at the
Supermall.
Slauson,
Yeah,
Okay.
right? Nobody in the mall knew who they was.
we didn't know who they was.
Wow.
Everybody was on Juvenile because Juvenile was kind of blowing.
Oh, that's the only person they knew. So Juvenile basically had the security
Entourage.
around him as he was walking. I'm next to Lil Wayne like this.
I'll never forget. I was little. We right there, right? Wayne told us to buy Guerrilla Welfare, and he looked it older in person than he looked it on the case.
And we bought
and then you had bought the nigga Mr. Magic, nigga White Eyes album.
Yeah.
You bought White Eyes. And I think I got like Dr. Doolittle 2 soundtrack or something. You feel me? And then we get the
That's not
Guerrilla
right, though.
Welfare too. And that soundtrack was hard though.
It was.
On me, that one had a lead social on that
Don't
on
front.
everything.
Don't
So
front.
then you had got White Eyes, and we listened to that first because White Eyes, that was one of your favorite artists. He was
Yeah,
going
man, Mr.
crazy.
Magic was my dude.
But once a motherfucker put that Guerrilla Welfare in, I was telling him back then, I'm like, Wayne is the coldest nigga ever to like. Then
Wayne was
he just started hitting, getting better and better.
Yeah,
and
he
better.
started-
Wayne
his peak,
evolved
man.
to me
Yeah.
into what he is now.
Yeah, it was-
Like,
for
you know,
real,
like
bro.
Wayne is
For
like
everybody,
I always say he's an alien. He
everybody
ain't
remember
all the
that
way.
Lil Wayne when he was on Rap City when the nigga said, "I can't talk right
now.
now.
I got some rocks in my mouth.
Yeah.
I can't talk right now. I got 2 rocks in my mouth.
Hey,
That shit,
That
right
shit
there, I
was
was
dope.
like,
that was one of the
Yeah.
hardest fucking shits.
on everything.
It
Yeah.
was.
Crazy.
Yeah, that nigga
Man.
was. Yeah, Wayne.
He used to say some shit. I tell people all the time, like the best music he gave away, his best music he gave away free.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? On his albums, to me, his albums mediocre to me because I didn't heard the mixtape that.
They are, but them albums, the Carter and
Yeah, the Carter 1, the Carter 2,
Carter,
yeah, for sure.
yeah.
The Carter 3 kind of a little iffy. Then he
I like
got
that
a
Carter
little, you know
4.
what I'm saying?
I like
Lollipop
Carter
shit.
4.
Carter 4, I think was better than 3.
Let's put it like this. I'm with you on the mixtapes.
Yeah.
Cause Sorry for the Wait was crazy.
Crazy.
Motherfucker.
Dedication 1, 2.
Dedication
Oh
1 and
my
2,
God.
nigga.
Yeah, remember that?
I like, nigga, them shits was fucking.
How to grow my, he said, how to grow my daddy-o, catch me while I'm chilling, not kill you from my patio.
Right.
Bitch, my shadow look good, I'm just feeling wheezy. That nigga was going crazy.
Yeah, that nigga,
was
boy,
crazy.
I'm like, Sorry for the Wait had me like, man, this nigga is incredible.
Crazy.
I was
Vegas,
like,
I think Vegas would kill the scene if we did like some
The
more
mix-
mixtapes.
Oh,
They
yeah.
did the
Hell
mixtapes and
yeah.
circulated them shit.
Hell yeah.
I think so too.
And we working on that.
Smash.
Yeah.
With- with-
Yeah.
We working on that.
For the record.
That'd be
I
dope.
feel like
You heard it here first.
On
I
me.
feel like Vegas is finding their lane. So one thing I wanted, because this is an argument I have with a lot of people, and I personally feel like we don't need a sound. But
right.
do y'all feel like we need a distinct sound like a Atlanta or a Chicago
To be honest with
or
you,
a
Nah.
Detroit?
I feel like I feel like Vegas already has a sound. I'm like, I can't put a pinpoint on what that is, but the sound that when I hear a Vegas artist and I hear them really doing anything, it's not that I know they Vegas. I just know they don't sound like everybody else.
Yeah,
that's how I feel. I'll be like, okay, nigga. I'm like, you tell me you from Vegas? I'm like, yeah, I can believe that. Because I'm like, to be honest with you, I'm like, Tay Van sound commercial, but he don't sound like nobody.
Yeah.
To me, I was like, yo, this shit's dope. I was like, this shit is dope. I'm like, he got a commercial album that could sell anywhere.
Fact.
And it's dope, and it don't sound like nobody shit.
Fact. Yeah.
I was like, yo, when I listen to Cyreek and them, and I listen to them, I'm like, man, they sound authentic.
Authentic.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm like, yo, to me, so I'm like, I think we already have a sound. I just think that people want it to sound like something else, so they can say that it's a sound.
They just need somebody to blow. Once somebody blow, then it's gonna be like, oh yeah, you know what I'm saying? Because if you really think about it, who really sound like nowadays? A lot of people sound like, but like in Atlanta, Luda, none of them niggas sound alike. Luda, T.I., none of them niggas, Outkast, none of them niggas sound nothing alike. But now all of a sudden, people saying Atlanta got a sound. How though? The people who really brought Atlanta up, none of them niggas sound nothing alike.
At all.
Like T.I. didn't, like T.I. let it be known, like I'm nothing like Outkast. Please don't even put me in that box.
That nigga made original trap music.
Yeah.
I was like, yo, his music was like, okay, nigga, this is the hustler
he was
music.
the hustler music.
I was the only
and even Jeezy didn't sound nothing like him. Gucci, none of them niggas.
This is why I asked like three of y'all favorites and why, because like T.I. for me is one of the ones, like, although he gave you trap music, he didn't make it glamorous.
Nah, hell no.
He never made it glamorous. He was like, it's not what y'all want to do.
I had to do this.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I had to live this life. He never made it glamorous.
I think he took a page from Jay-Z on that though.
He always said Jay-Z was his favorite rapper.
Yeah, because Jay-Z was the first one to give you the flip side to the coin. If you listen to Reasonable Doubt, he telling you about like how he hustling, but then he actually saying shit. He's saying shit on Can I Live and the Evils. You know what I mean? These are songs that's like telling you like the other side of the coin that come with the bullshit. Yeah. Like he like, yo, like, yeah, you know, I got your baby mom kid wrapped up in the house because you done took some work for me, and nigga, now I'm feeding her shits to, you know what I mean, to tell on you. Yeah. You know what I mean? I'm like, yo, this is the shit that come with the dope game. And that's what I was like, man, I was like, T.I. took a page from that, which is dope because he always acknowledges that. You know what I mean? So I'm like,
yeah. So that's why he was one of my like favorites. You know what I'm saying? Like T.I., Face. You know what I'm saying? Niggas like, of course, Pop, you know what I'm saying? But because of the way that I feel like I feel like they didn't attack it the way that nobody else was doing it. Like I heard T.I. before Jeezy. So when I heard Jeezy, it was like, you trying to make it like this is what niggas need to do. T.I. was like, nah, this ain't the way. Not saying, but I fucked with Jeezy too. And Jeezy was a total opposite. You know what I'm saying? He was a total opposite. Exactly. That'd be the thing. They don't even be like that. But T.I. was my my always connect. With every album he dropped, I can always connect because he give you his life.
And he gave you balance.
Exactly.
He gave you balance. I'm like, it's like, you know, some people get out there and they just tell you about the hustle side and how glamorous it can be. Like, I ain't gonna front. I listen to Thug Motivation 101. I thought I could be a straight up dope. Oh man. I was like, yo, I get out here and be like, yo, nigga, give me some bricks. I'm about to be the new snowman. Straight up. That's how dope that shit was.
Yeah, not even knowing he didn't even patent the snowman.
The t-shirts, remember the
he said Jay-Z took him to somewhere. He said he was like, man, this dude right here making millions off of your shirt because you ain't even patent it. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? You ain't even on your business the right way talking about it like that. You know what I'm saying?
I was like, that nigga had me ready to have the rest of the yamps at my auntie's house. Like, that nigga had it going up with that shit. That shit was hard.
That was dope ass album. Every beat slap for real. That
album didn't miss.
That album was hard.
I'm not
Thug Motivation 101. You know who put me
and 103.
You know who put me on that? Nardo put me on that motherfucker. That motherfucker had me rocking that shit like crazy.
Squares of the squares.
Hey, we was in the barbershop and that nigga Nardo was like, nigga, playing that shit, nigga. I'm like, he played that shit all day long. I was like, yo, this shit is kind of dope.
It was an ad libs though. We ain't never heard.
It was the ad libs.
Yeah, that shit was wild.
He was the first one before the Migos to really make the ad libs the forefront of the song.
I think said about 9 words the whole song.
Right.
And he just said yeah every time.
For real.
Yeah. I don't think it's the sound. I don't think Vegas had the sound.
Do we need it?
Nah, hell no. Because we're doing fine right now. And when the rest of the city and the rest of the country catch on,
it's over.
But we ain't got no sound.
But like he was just saying, I was like he said, Atlanta ain't got a sound, but all them artists came out and blew, and now all of a sudden they got a sound. That's the same. I'm like, you listen to a Trey Bisley don't sound like none of the guys I just talked about. He don't sound like Trey Blue. He don't sound like Bay Blue. He don't sound like none of these dudes.
Right.
I'm like, yo, all these people sound different, but when these sounds hit and they go up, then they'll be like, yo, that sound like some Vegas shit. That's what they gonna say. You know what I mean? But I'm like, these cats is all original in their own right. And I'm like, yo.
I love that they all sound like, because it's hard to listen to the same shit over and over. For real.
Right.
That shit crazy, man.
No, we don't need no
But
sound.
shit, man.
Everybody do their thing.
We're gonna wrap this up before we go, man. I got this segment called Game for Lames. You know what I'm saying?
Game for Lames.
I want all y'all to give the people some game y'all in acquired in life that you feel to help you dodge some bullshit, or you feel to help you on the straight and narrow, like kept you focused. I always say, like, my uncle always tell me, like, everything that glitter ain't gold. That shit always stuck with me, like a motherfucker.
Mine is, dude, if you're gonna do some dirt, do it by your motherfucking self.
Straight up. The ultimate lesson. The ultimate lesson, people. You ain't gonna tell on yourself, I promise you.
Yeah, don't take your partner with you, don't take your cousin with you. Do your dirt by your longer. That's mine.
What y'all got?
Oh man, mine is this. How you do anything is how you do everything. So I'm like, straight up, if you gonna do the smallest thing and you don't put your all into it, if you get the biggest opportunity, you gonna do the same thing. You're not gonna put your all into it. So I'm like, it don't matter if you taking out the garbage, be the best at that shit. You know what I mean? Be the best at that shit, because I'm like, it's gonna transcend into everything you do. Go hard at it, no matter what level you on. That's what I go.
Think before you move. Put 1 before 2. It'll make the difference in your 3.
There it is.
Facts.
100.
For me, I would say that, like, everything comes down to divine timing. Everything happens in the time that it's supposed to happen. I feel like there's nowhere that you can be that you're not supposed to be. There's nothing that you doing that you're not supposed to be doing, because evolution is a process.
Facts.
That's crazy she said that, because today I posted, be patient but be prepared.
Big facts.
That's crazy. For sure, man. But thank all y'all for coming, man. It was a pleasure to have y'all on here. Hopefully we'll be on y'all show soon, man.
Yeah, you know.
And I keep pushing the city ahead, man. For real, they definitely need it. Well, we all need it. For real.
Yeah, yes, sir. Yes,
This is so much fun.
Thanks, man.
Thank y'all for having us, man. Straight up. Yo, we made it to Code 7, baby. We on Code 7 right now, nigga. We up in the city, nigga. What?
I love you, Sev.
Shout out to Sev, man.
Shout out to Sev.
Shout out to Sev. Shout out to Bud. Shout out to Malik, Young Leak. We see you. Alright.
Shout out to Ben for taking the pictures, man. Melissa for the recording.
Hey, Melissa.
Code 7, man. We up out of here.
Peace.
How the fuck you winning if you lost in this? Niggas think they own, so they get off in this. It's easy to get crossed in this. On TOP, we gon' get far from this. Step up in they town and burn it down like I'm a horse.